Betwixt the ruby seas, deep in the eye of the storm, a bastion of beef and hope lies nestled in the sand. 4 men almost lost to the deep now find tranquility within its walls. And now they're inviting you in for a tale unlike anything you've ever heard before.
Games.
Sports. It's in my ass.
Sports. Why did I think it was games?
EA games. It's in the sports.
No, I did think it was games.
Didn't they? They did have an EA games one. What was it?
They did. It was EA games. Challenge everything.
Yeah. That was good.
Challenge everything.
They also had big.
Yeah.
It would just go big.
Oh yeah.
It's like on
I think that popped
more
up
like
before
goofy
the.
games.
Yeah, it was before like the SSX. That snowboarding game was the one that I associated with.
Yeah, I associate it with NFL
games.
Street.
I was gonna say NFL
Say the
Street.
game
That's
another one, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're back. Can you boys believe it? We're back in action.
In the Taco Bell.
We're back in the Taco
We're back
Bell.
in the zone.
We stranded on the island again.
We survived, but only by the skin of our teeth.
Yes.
Because the 4 of us have been inflicted with our own diseases, our own different forms of famine,
And in a very funny way.
We were cursed by Alaskan shaman.
Yeah. There's a little native woman who was just like waving her wand from the top of the mountain, striking each of us individually. But we made it back, and we are not dead.
Somehow.
Despite
our repeated attempts to.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Here goes gravity.
That's what happened in the plane. Mick made us come back.
Yeah. You said it.
We tried to sneak in. We tried to sneak in and like get our stuff and like go back to the States. Yeah. And he sunk our boat. So we're back.
He put these little. He injected us with something.
Little trackers.
Yeah. I felt a little funny. I woke up, my asshole hurt.
Yeah, it's magnetic too. When I put a coin up to it, it sticks to it. I think Bill Gates owns it or something.
Yeah. Nick is taking a paycheck from Bill Gates.
Nick vaccinated us.
I know we talked about that, but that's still like the dumbest fucking conspiracy theory that it makes you magnetic.
I'm Magneto.
That's a cool superpower. I'd love if I was magnetic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Actually, maybe I wouldn't, because then you couldn't use phones and stuff.
They should have made a vaccine that makes you like bald and in a wheelchair, like the other guy from X-Men.
And
you can like read people's fucking emotions or whatever you can do.
Yeah,
and
you can see them, but only emojis. But anyway, we're here. Would anyone like to go through their various ailments one by one?
Yeah, James, tell us about your ear.
I got an
James
ear
got
infection.
fucked by the ocean.
When you hear like ear infection, you'd be like, oh, your ear hurts. But somehow, like, I've been deadly sick for like 2 weeks. Not deadly, but like, I'm fucking... I did antibacteria drugs or whatever for like a week. Charles turned that shit up. I went to the fucking...
drugs.
Whatever, like, the cheap emergency room is called or whatever. Like, I've been in and out of doctor. I got tested for, like, everything. They're just like, nah, it's just the ear infection. Because I'm like, well, my left ear is, like, all fucked and clogged. And it was way worse before. And, like, I was going to fucking... Having a clogged ear makes me revert to, like, a 20 million year old save of, like, being a fucking gorilla. I fucking hate it. But then like my sinuses started going crazy. I'm still swallowing like gallons of fucking cum and snot like every single fucking day. Like I'm
unrelated.
I'm lethargic, which is apparently a common symptom of an ear infection for some reason. Like I have no motivation to do fucking anything, and it sucks. And I would have been good, except I got drunk and we went to the beach on the last night, and I jumped in the ocean at like 1 o'clock in the morning. In Alaska.
Beautiful experience.
I looked
beautiful,
it up.
Bright.
Yeah. It was wonderful. I would do it. I would do it again. No. That's the big. That's the big ending for the vlog.
That's for the vlog. All right.
We won't spoil it any further than that.
Yeah.
It's not like that cool, but I
just
wanted to go in the ocean, and it was really epic. And I looked it up. The ocean was 51 degrees that night, which is crazy. But
that is wild.
I've always had a problem with ear infections since I was a little kid. But then like when I wasn't a little kid anymore, I didn't really get them that much. But I must have got water in my ear, and then I flew the next day, and fucking the pressure from the airplane like fucking mutated the water into like a demon, and it started raping the backside of my eardrum. So
yeah. No,
plus, like, Alaska's like, because it's in the Arctic or whatever, it's got all those beautiful like microbes that have like melted out of the glaciers that have been hidden for 10,000 years or whatever.
Yeah, you got like the mammoth ear infection.
No, but it's so fucking, it's crazy. Like, I was thinking, like, because I kept reading shit, you know, like, you're trying to figure out how to fix what's wrong with you, or if it's worse than it seems. So you're going on, like, you're in YouTube videos, you're on Reddit comments, you're on fucking WebMD and shit. And, like, people are like, yeah, I got an ear infection and I went on a plane the next day and my ear's been clogged for 3 years. And, like,
Jesus.
And the clog was so bad. Like, I've never had an ear clog that bad. It felt like there was just, like, a brick in my eardrum, and it created, like, all this pressure in my head. And, like, I was thinking, like, there are so many things that I could live with, like, all different kinds of handicaps and diseases and shit. But like if my ears felt like that for more than like a few months, I would legitimately, like, I really think it would snap my sanity. I'd like shoot up a fucking building or something.
I agree with you, because I also had ear infections growing up, like horrendous ones where one ear would just be like you said, bricked off, and it genuinely tests your sanity. It is the most frustrating thing in the world to have like your EQ.
You can't just not. You just can't. Well, it's that, but it's also like there's so like COVID. I could, even while I'm bleeding out of like my whole face, I was watching Modern Family and chilling. But like with this, like the 4 or 5 days where the blockage was really, really bad, like I legitimately from waking up to going to sleep could not focus on anything. But like the pressure in my head, it's like it was like you can't not think about it, because it's just so like I don't know, there's just something about it where you're like hyper focused on it constantly. It's wild. But no, I'd do it all again.
It was worth it.
Dip in the ocean.
How are you now?
I'm still really snotty for some reason, and my ear's like 80% right now. So it's not like it's at like a more. I kind of just feel like I have hearing loss. Like the pressure's kind of gone. Maybe I do. I don't know, but I'm going to the ear, nose, throat doctor in 2 days.
Oh,
he's gonna fuck me in all them holes.
Yeah,
but isn't that such a weird? Like it makes sense. All those things are connected, but it's like it sounds like such a random mix. So I'm going to like the toenail, foreskin, and teeth doctor. It's like, all right.
I'm going to the eyebrow, hair, and asshole doctor.
I had that when I had my fucking balls fouled up. They like make, you know, the whole like they make you cough or whatever.
Yeah.
Larry made me do that. While I was getting my fucking nuts ultrasounded a wee while ago, I had to like put my thumb in my mouth and blow on it. Because I guess that like activates some shit.
Yeah.
No, you had to blow on
I've
his
been doing shit like that too.
He made me kiss him. I don't know what that was about.
I think it will like doing stuff like that. You can feel it like coughing a lot. Like it made my butthole hurt after a while, because it's tensing up your abs, and your abs are connected to your prostate, and like it's interesting.
You ever cough so hard you come?
The abdominals connected to the prostate.
The human body's like so crazy and epic, and then it's also just like, if you cough too hard, your fucking butthole's gonna prolapse. Like, what's up with that?
You just shoot out your like fucking Lego skeleton out of your
Isn't that one of the like? Isn't that one of the reasons? The alleged reasons for why foot fetishes exist is because they're like nerves. The nerves for your dick and the nerves for your feet are like can sometimes, if they build you wrong, they can kind of overlap a bit. So like,
interesting.
The sexual pleasure you get from your dick sometimes like skips over to your feet, so you're like, your brain's like, feet feel good in dick, and that's why some people apparently
that would be the other side of it. That'd be I'd say that's the more rare side of the foot fetish, where it's like you like your feet being pleasured, because I'd say the majority of a foot fetish is just people who for some reason like feet, like other people's feet. But I wouldn't doubt it.
I think, you know, in like in like Muslim countries where they like.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, here it is.
Buckle up, everybody.
Dresses don't cover their feet.
Right?
Get ready.
Sorry, I'm a true patriot. All right. I mean, they fucked us in 2001. What do you want me to do? The world
never forget.
The same. Come
never
on.
forget.
Never forget. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, they cover up like 90% of their body, and I think there was like a Family Guy joke where like it was like they were getting horny over like a woman's like elbow or something. And I've always thought of that. Like
Peter's my day one, and that's on the gang.
And that's on the gang.
And that's on the gang. I feel like over there they have like their foot fetish would be like a woman's elbow. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
sure.
Damn.
Because they only see feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they don't even
only
have feet fetish over there.
You can look that up on like Pornhub does that like every year. They put out like what the most popular like searches in each like state and each country and shit. And it's always the places where like it's illegal to be gay and you get like fucking stabbed in the neck if you do. That's always like one of the most like just gay shit. It's one of the most literally that term gay shit is one of the most searched things. And it's almost like banning gay people doesn't stop gay people from existing. Anyway,
facts.
Bit of a tangent.
Facts. This.
Let my people go.
Wait, weren't we talking about how sick we were? What happened?
Oh yeah. Wait,
I don't know how we ended up here.
I feel like in order from most to least sick, it probably goes James, Doplex, me, and then Andrew.
No, Doplex is the most sick for sure.
Oh, okay.
Courtney, bleep that, but leave it in.
Nah, Courtney, just keep that in. Fuck it.
But zoom in on my mouth so it's very obvious what I said.
Yeah.
And also just caption what he says.
Yeah. But then blur the caption.
Yeah.
Courtney, put it in Braille in the comments.
And then keep all of this in.
Yeah. But then blur the Braille.
Courtney's just gonna put in like fucking bubbly font like LOL no.
Yeah, exactly.
Get fucked, Courtney.
Get fucked, you, Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney.
If you do that, we're docking your pay.
Courtney.
So Doplex had COVID.
Yeah, I had COVID. Sabrina and I had COVID. And for a while, I was like, it's like one of those things, like obviously we've been going through this for a hot minute, right? And I was like,
been going through it.
Maybe I have some sort of like immunity because I could have sworn I would have gotten it by now. I also
thought the same thing.
Yeah, because it's like, I thought I would have gotten it by now, but I've been fine, right? I haven't been sick in years. So then Sabrina, so we get back from Alaska. Sabrina and I, we make ourselves a few drinks, right? I'm making some margaritas and shit. We're having a good night. We get a little tipsy. The next morning, Sabrina feels like shit, but she thinks it's because she's hungover. She's like, "Oh, my eyes hurt." She walks in, she's like wearing sunglasses and shit. I thought she was like, just being like funny. Turns out she just had COVID. Yeah, turns out I had just like brought her home the best suit. Like, I feel great. She's like, I brought her home the best souvenir ever, which was COVID. Some fresh Alaskan COVID.
Yeah,
straight from the Alps.
Yeah, so we spent the last week basically on our deathbeds. I always think back, whenever it comes to being sick, I always think back to being a child and having the worst fever ever, where I legitimately lost all motor skills, because when you get a fever bad enough, it boils your brain to the point where you can actually forget shit. And
cool.
Yeah, so
that's pretty sick.
I just remember, like, I forgot a lot of my motor skills. So anyway, I had that again to an extent. I still had my motor skills, but I forgot the border between reality and what was my own mind. So I was
the Christian experience.
Exactly. Yeah, I had my own little merge.
I like to think Doplex's mom always knew that when he had a fever, because he'd be walking on his hands.
he just starts
cartwheeling everywhere. Yeah.
He'd walk out and like fucking on his hands and like open the fridge with his feet, and his mom would be like, "Oh, get him a cold
Honey,
compress.
go to bed.
He'll be fine."
I'll bring out the cold compress.
Yeah. So I was having this battle with myself in the midst of my COVID fever dreams, which, by the way, we did test ourselves and we did have COVID, so it wasn't just, we know we had COVID. I was having this fever dream where I was like, I was like within myself, and I was talking to every single one of my organs, and I was like,
fuck?
I was like, you know what, you guys do so much work for me, like
You're
brain,
Jones.
you know, like shout out brain, shout out heart, shout out, just it's okay, you can die, it's fine. So I had this whole thing, and then it was like a battle with myself to go downstairs just to get an ice pack. It was a whole thing. Anyway, so I have now lost my sense of taste and smell. And it has been the most depressing few days ever. Just like Sabrina and I have been on a quest to like, we've just been like in our kitchen, like in our pantry, just finding shit to like inhale, to like just try to get like a glimpse of smell or taste.
Yeah.
Like we're inhaling bags of coffee, fucking apple cider vinegar, just like
spoons of
pussy.
Garlic. It helped me. I swear it helped me regain my senses quicker.
That's actually, I think I'm gonna do that, because it's getting to the point where it's like, it's just sad, you know, because it's like, we were talking about this before we started recording, but like a lot of the enjoyment in food comes from tasting it, and not being able to taste it is like, it a lot of things just taste like tofu or just like nothing. It's just like you get like the LaCroix flavoring of something, but like that's the extent of it, you know, like coffee tastes like milk. And like fucking, if I'm eating like a sour candy, it feels like I'm just eating like salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get that feeling of like you own, you know, when you learn like the different parts of your mouth, like, oh, the salty, the sour, the creamy or whatever. Like that's all there's no nuance to any of the flavor.
Exactly.
Like the famous creamy zone.
I was telling Doplex that like COVID for some reason like evolved to be like an epic troll. So the first thing it does is it sends like its full power at the nerves in your nostrils that like control your sense of smell. And it specifically, so like when you get a cold, you can't really taste that well, but that's just because your sinuses are inflamed to shit. So like I haven't been able to taste that much, but if I just and then like bite something for like 3 seconds, there will be flavor, you know. But with COVID, there's nothing, because it literally kills the fucking the things in your nose that like let you be able to smell things.
It destroys them.
So like I noticed that with COVID, you can tell the difference between something that's salty, sweet, savory, and whatever the fourth one is.
Yeah, exactly.
And
creamy.
It's because that's all your tongue does, and beyond that, like flavor. So like if you've ever had COVID and you've experienced this, like you can tell something that's salty and sweet, but beyond that, there's like there's no like, it's just like everything is like a seltzer. You can just be like, oh, this is this or this is that, but it's because that's all your tongue can do, and then everything else that comes with taste is completely in your nose. Like, I'd say like 95% of like taste is just like in your nose. Like,
it's crazy.
Like your tongue is almost worthless to taste.
Yeah, which is insane. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I always thought it was like,
the other thing I didn't realize for a while is like, it's so obvious, but to your point earlier about the nose, throat, or whatever the fuck, doctor, you think like, oh, well, so you smell your food. I kind of imagine like, blah, 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 and the smell comes out of your mouth. It's like, oh no, your fucking nose is connected to your throat, so you eat, and then at the back of your throat, that goes up into your nose through the reverse, and that's where you kind of taste a lot of food. So but you fucking can't when you got COVID,
and it's depressing.
Andrew keeps making fun of me for saying creamy as a taste. It isn't a taste, but it is one of the few things I have had that I can taste since having COVID. Like it's when I'm eating like a burger, I can pretty much taste just the salt and then the creaminess from like the mayonnaise. That's like the two things I can fucking taste. Everything else is just like
interesting.
And maybe if I got a spicy burger, I can taste the spice, which pretty much, I've just been eating nothing but spicy burgers.
The one thing I could taste during COVID was ketchup for some reason. It broke the fucking barrier. It was really weird.
I guess ketchup's pretty much just sugar and salt anyway. Like that's what you really can taste normally. So and like a little bit of acidity. So I guess like that's where you can really.
That does make sense. Yeah. Ketchup is definitely like, just you break it down to like its essential fucking oils. I don't know what you call it, but like that is basically what you can taste.
Wait, Doughboy, so you're saying that you were talking to your organs though? I want to know where that goes.
Oh yeah. So I was talking to my organs, and pretty much I was just thanking them for
their service.
For their service. I was like basically fucking saluting them and sucking their cocks, thanking them for their service. And and then it was this weird moment of like going into battle with the virus. And it was a very strange moment. And I legitimately hallucinated this from the moment I lied down until I woke up at it was 6 a.m. And I just woke up in a sweat. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with me? Something is not right in my brain. I need to fucking cool my head down.
It was that was it was scary. There was one night during COVID where I was hallucinating that I think I said it on the podcast briefly, but it was every language, every type of language and numbers were I invented a new language made of all of them. And I would I would dream about it, and then I would wake up and I would be hallucinating that that world existed, and I was a prophet of language. And I I would get 1 second where I would realize that none of that's true and that I'm really sick, and then I'd get really scared and start fucking getting really anxious. But then my brain would just hallucinate me back to fucking sleep, and it was that shit was the worst night of it by far. My fever was just so bad that but that 1 second where you're the seat of your soul reawakens, and it's no, it's a lie, you're just really sick, and you just start freaking out. And then I guess to calm you down, your body's just nah, bruh, you did invent a new language.
Yeah, come back to the happy land. Yeah. No, I 100% know what you mean. And real quick, when I was getting better, there was a day where I felt better, and all that was left was, so I've been taking a lot of medicine, right? Just a lot of acetaminophen, which you don't want to do. You don't want to take too much medicine because it just basically fucks up your liver. And so on top of that, I take a lot of vitamins just by default. So I was also taking a lot of vitamins, and I ordered fucking Vicks Vapor Rub. And so I was better. I was still kind of just chilling on the couch, but I put some Vicks Vapor Rub on my chest and on my nostrils. Vicks Vapor Rub, yeah.
That Vicks could
make that.
It brings out your darkest desires. So I put it on my nostrils because I want to clear out the fucking congestion in my head, which you're not supposed to do, by the way, because that can give you pneumonia. And I thought I had pneumonia because it
on your nostril specifically, or using it in general? Because my mom always put it on my chest.
Yeah, that's where you're supposed to put it. But if you put it on your nostrils, when you breathe it in, it the little fucking molecules in it will go into your nose and go into your lungs and give you pneumonia.
Sweet.
It's a special kind of pneumonia.
And you did that knowingly?
Pneumonia.
I didn't know because I was oh, well, my nose is plugged and I want to sleep, so I put it in my nose. And then next thing I know, my fucking chest is tightening up with the worst pain I've ever felt. And I was bro, what the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah, and so I'm fucking lying on my couch. Sabrina had already gone to bed, and I'm watching LGR, and I'm just fucking in fucking fetal position, just rocking, and I'm moving around, and I thought I was going to die. So
what's LGR?
It's Lazy Game Reviews. Okay. I've talked about him on here before.
LGR,
great YouTube channel, highly recommend. So anyway,
highly recommend. These guys make great stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's fucking thrift shopping, so it's just the juxtaposition of watching this guy all happy, finding this old PC game, and I'm fucking dying on my couch, and I'm physically wincing, and I'm physically oh.
Darth Vader breathing, just
yeah. So the sun starts to come up, and I go upstairs and I wake Sabrina. I'm I need to go to the hospital. I honestly think I'm gonna die. And she's worried, right? So I'm I'm just gonna go get in the shower, and I'm gonna try to not die, because I legitimately thought I was going to. And so I get in the shower, and I'm trying to wash the fucking vapor rub off of my nose, and then I'm inhaling the steam because it hurts to breathe, and I legitimately feel my heart is going to explode. It's a whole fucking thing. So I get out of the shower, I dry myself off, and I just I start doing stretches, because I'm I think back to fucking Dr. Dolittle when one of it was a gerbil or something. He thinks he's gonna die, but then he pushes on him and he farts. You know what I mean? Do you guys remember that scene? It was it's just gas. No. Sure. So I start thinking, I'm maybe it's just gas. So I get out of the shower, and I get on all fours. Yeah, I spread my ass. I get on all fours, and I'm and I remember listening to a podcast fucking 6 years ago where they say if you line up your asshole with your mouth, you'll empty out all the farts in your system, right? So I start doing that, and I'm fucking on all fours, and I'm just like ripping ass in my office.
This is like the Slumdog Millionaire of like you're like remember back to Dr. Oz, and then you remember back to the podcast you listened to. It's like everything's coming together to let Dopix live.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm on all fours. I'm fucking farting my life depended on it.
Let's fucking go.
So I feel like I emptied out everything, right? And like, I don't know if my office stinks. I can't smell anything. So then I fucking lie down in like, oh, Andrew, you might like this. I lie down in Jesus pose, right? And I'm just like staring at the ceiling, and I'm like, well, I did all I could. So if I die tonight, that is my fault.
It's not my fault.
Like I did everything I could.
I put Vicks Vapor Rub on my nostrils that fucking caused all this.
Wait, so did you know that beforehand, or you found that out after?
I looked it up because I was in such terrible pain. So I looked it up, and it said like a lot of people do this thinking that it'll clear their fucking nasal passages, but they just end up getting pneumonia instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so reading that made it worse. It just scared the shit out of me. So then like I ended up falling asleep, and I woke up completely fine. It was just like, it was fucking weird. It was just like a terrible night, and then I wake up and I feel like I'm like just back to normal. And
did you read that while that was happening, or like before it was happening, or after it was happening?
No, like while it was happening, because I was in so much pain. Yeah. And like I looked it up, like why, like I was like, Vicks Vapor Rub making me think I'm gonna have a heart attack, or like Vicks Vapor Rub making my chest feel like it's like pulsating. And then you know, it said if you put it on your nostrils, that'll happen. So I didn't get pneumonia that I know of, and I didn't die. So that's my COVID.
That's a dub in my book. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Doplex's organs.
Yeah, shout out to my organs.
Yeah, whatever.
Nice cock.
Whenever I feel like that when I'm sick, like I'm like freaking out, I turn the shower on max, and I just like sit down and turn off all the lights and play music, and I'm just like, I go into like a fugue
try
state.
To get through it. Yeah.
I have a weird thing where I never feel that way when I'm sick, because I'm just like, oh, I'm sick. But I just get that all the time when I'm not sick. I'll just be sitting there like in bed at night being like, yeah, I'm dying. I feel a weird pain in my side. This is it. But like when I'm sick, I'm always just like, I think I just need an excuse, you know. Like if I'm sick, I'm like, well, I know I'm sick, so no matter how bad I feel, it's a cold. But when I'm just lying in bed and I can feel a pain in a weird place, I'm like, could be cancer.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
You did it.
Shout out COVID. Wait,
also,
I think it's really funny. Just last point on Doplex's COVID experience. I think it's hilarious that he flew from LA to Seattle to Anchorage. We went out all week. Obviously, we're all vaccinated and shit, but like we went out all week. We were doing a bunch of different fucking shit. We went thrift shopping dozens of times. None of us washed the clothes and wore them, which they washed them at the thrift store. But like we're wearing wearing hand-me-down clothes from a fucking thrift store with like with like crackheads in there that are just like smelling shit, and like we wear that. And we're doing podcasts. We're going out to eat every single night. Fucking like we're doing all this shit. And then there was something else, because we were talking about this the other night, and I thought it was really funny. There was like another point where we also did something else where you'd think that's where you get COVID or whatever, but none of it, like I didn't get COVID, Andrew and Courtney didn't get COVID. So like after all that, Doplex caught the vid on the way, on the last
back
plane
to
home.
California.
Yeah, exactly. Like out of like 5 fucking plane rides, like after traveling and doing all this shit and being basically not having a care in the world, you just got one plane on the way back just nerfed
got
you.
Me vided. Yeah.
I knew I shouldn't have kissed the pilot.
It's just like so unlucky. It's so funny.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
I mean, honestly, probably the most lucky. Like the timing was.
That is true.
Kind of ideal.
Yeah.
You know,
well, the most lucky would be not getting it.
Well,
the
that's
second most lucky, I guess.
Yeah, but
because I mean, that was the eternal fear, is that one of us would get sick on the way. Like, and then, if any of us got sick before or during the whole trip, that would have, especially Andrew, because I don't know what the fuck we'd have done. We'd just have to hang out near his house.
Yeah.
But
just talking you guys through the window.
But then, in stark contrast to Doplex, I also caught COVID, and it was
Let's go.
It was fine. It was unlike the Americans. I'm not very melodramatic. No, it hits everyone different. I got back to Australia and I was like, this ain't right. You know, they say
something's wrong. I can feel it.
They say when you get back, you're like, so they say when you get COVID, you'll know. Because I thought the same thing as all you guys. I was like, I never had it. I hadn't, for the last year or so, I've just been going out like #living life. I figured like I'd just get it.
Living la
vida
loca.
And I didn't get it. So I was like, I probably had it. Maybe I'm just like asymptomatic and based. But clearly not. Because I came back and I was like, I feel unwell, and I did a test and yep, sure enough. But thankfully it wasn't that bad, just a bit fevery, a bit beating around the... I didn't quite have the full-on fever dreams you guys did. I had some, but I can't read. They weren't interesting and funny like your guys were. I just remember waking up being like, ugh. But the weirdest thing is just the brain. Like your fucking your noodle feels like you feel 20 IQ points lower. I felt like I felt like bleep that name. I finally got to know what it's like to post on Facebook. I know it's just weird when like I still have it a little bit. I think at least that's my excuse. But just not being able to like properly focus on anything or watching stuff and just being like, just not getting it. Like I just watch movies and be like, what's happening? It's an awful experience.
Yeah.
But I'm triple vax, so maybe that's why it wasn't so bad.
I think it is because I don't think Doplex is boosted and I'm not.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was just because of laziness. Like I got them first two motherfuckers, and then it was like,
that's all I need.
Yeah,
I did it.
What
more do you want from me?
It's not even that. It's just like I couldn't be motivated. Like I wanted to get it. I should have got it, but I didn't.
No, I was the exact same. Shouts out to
lazy.
She forced us to. She kept nagging me, and then eventually we're like, okay, this weekend we'll do it. Because it is, like you do lose like a day or whatever to like recovering from the vaccine.
I never get that. I've never had a bad vaccine experience in all my life.
That's interesting because most of I haven't really either till the COVID one, and even then they weren't that bad. It was like I had the same thing you had, Doplex, when I got my first one, where I felt fucking atrocious, and then I woke up the next day and I was back to normal. It was like it never even happened. It was like from down here to just like okay, we're good.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a running theory that like how you reacted to the vaccine is kind of how you react to the actual thing. Because like one of my friends who had a really bad reaction to the vaccine and was sick for like 2 or 3 days, when he got it, he was like you guys. He got like fucking steamrolled by it for like weeks. But then everyone I know who's like had the vaccine and been like, yeah, no, it wasn't that bad when they got it.
Well, I proved that wrong.
Yeah,
because my vaccine did nothing and I got fucking raped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, there was a point where I was like, so like, are you gonna help me?
Hey, you might have died if you didn't have it.
That is true. Yeah, who knows? I might have died. But it was like, I'm basically dead at this point.
I should be better. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing we talked about, or besides the brain fog, is fucking not having a sense of taste. I really did realize just how much my enjoyment of food comes from taste, and also just my enjoyment of life, because I really like cooking and eating and stuff. So like,
Same.
I thought I had like less of an appetite, but I clearly didn't, because I'd be lying in bed and my stomach would be rumbling, and I'd be like, as in like, put food in me, and then I'd go and get something to eat, and I couldn't even finish like half. Like just like a regular burger meal. Like it just wouldn't happen. Like I'd get halfway through and be like, and just throw it away. It's such it's a weird feeling.
Your taste buds are just like,
what the fuck?
Not even a disease annihilating my taste fucking organs or whatever the fuck it did could stop me from eating. I was two-fisted in that shit. I was happy to eat. No, you don't.
Because I was lying in bed just like fucking hungry at the end of the night, like really, it was like, when you just haven't eaten at all. Like I literally had like half a burger meal for an entire day. That was like how bad it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wish I knew what that feeling was. As soon as I feel a hunger pang, I'm eating. I don't know what it's like to have any self-control to the point where it's like, oh, I'm hungry. I'll wait till tomorrow. Like I probably since my mom was fucking feeding me like carrot fucking shit out of a jar. I've never had to. If I feel hungry, I'm gonna eat something.
Yeah.
Mom, give me a double.
It doesn't even need to taste good. I used to just eat fucking bread and grape juice at like 10 o'clock at night just because that was the only thing left to eat.
It's true.
I'm dipping it.
I forgot about the fucking.
I forgot about that
the
shit.
bread and grape.
If all you give me is bread and grape juice, I'll eat it with a smile.
Oh, it was ciabatta bread and grape juice.
Ciabatta bread and grape juice, I dunk it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you lost like one of your feet or something.
Yeah, it's epic.
Anyway, so that happened, and then Andrew fell over or something, and that was
He toppled over.
That was the.
Oh yeah,
disease.
so my big illness. I hurt my back during sex.
Oh,
Let's
poor
go.
No,
Let's
he thinks
go.
it was sex.
Poor baby.
Honestly,
You said you
deserves
thought
a
it was
clap.
sex.
You should have
Say
seen
what?
the other guy.
You said it happened and you didn't know why, and you think that it was because you had sex the night before.
He thought he was having sex, but it
Yeah,
turns
when
out
did
No,
you
I'm
say
almost
Andrew?
positive it
Yeah.
was. It like I didn't have a back problem. Sex.
20 seconds
Back
later.
problem. I didn't do anything
That's
strenuous
true.
to have done that.
yeah.
But like, were you
Unless
fucking
my
and
muscle
you threw
just-
your back out and you like collapsed on top of Courtney?
No.
Well,
Courtney was fucking slapping
I
his
just-
cheeks.
Must have tweaked it just enough that like it waited and then was like, all right, now it hurts.
Andrew was doing his
But,
famous
it
spin
was
dash
annoying.
move.
I think it was just.
I mean,
maybe
it
was,
wasn't
like,
fun. I
sympathy
like
pain.
legit couldn't like bend
What, the
over
sex
to
wasn't
do
fun,
anything.
or the sore back.
The sore back.
Okay, sure.
Maybe
just
it
confirming.
was like a sympathy sickness for us. You saw
Yeah,
us spend
I
all
heard
day
all my
traveling out
boys
to you.
dropping like flies in
We're,
my back.
we're flying
Like,
50 hours to get to you. We're spending
Solidarity.
$1,000 on plane tickets. We get there, we're all chilling, then we all get sick, and you're like, "Fuck it, my back hurts."
Fuck it, back.
Fuck it, back.
Fuck it, back.
Finally, back.
Finally, back.
So anyway, that's why we didn't
back.
have an episode last week. Sorry about that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
all dying.
That was
But
our
we're
first
here.
episode we've ever missed after like
Yes.
And it only
61
took-
straight, I think.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
Can you blame
a
us?
pandemic,
Can you blame
an
us?
ear infection, and Andrew having
Yeah,
sex.
it only took like collective
Yeah.
57 hours of traveling and 4 like deadly illnesses.
So
Can you,
honestly-
can you blame us?
I don't feel bad about missing an episode. Sorry, I was dying.
sorry.
Sorry,
I
I
was
was having
dying
a
as well.
conversation with my organs. Sorry.
I'm a big guy for record setting, so I wish we could have never missed an episode and then been the first podcast to be fucking lit or something.
we
but
can
Yeah,
just lie and
that's
say we
okay.
didn't. No one's gonna fact check it.
Well, technically, we
can I-
did take a break
sabbatical.
in between seasons. So technically,
This was just
We
a.
know
yeah,
that was
this
planned.
is now
That's
season
true.
3.
yeah, that's a planned break.
Fuck you.
I was yeah no, this is season 3.
Hey, can I, real quick, while we're on the topic of travel, can I tell a short story about some of the interesting folks that I met?
You sure can, buddy.
You
This-
sure
this
can,
would be a quick
brother.
one,
By
you know,
all
we-
means.
I think, did we talk about did we talk about your, speaking of that as well, did we talk about the woman you sat next to on the podcast, Stoplex?
Oh no, we didn't.
Okay,
Wait, no,
well,
no, yeah, we
yeah,
did.
we
Yeah, we
did.
did.
Yeah, we did. We
did
did during
Yeah.
the IRL one.
Yeah, the first
yeah, so
live action one.
and you know, continuing that trend, I sat next to some interesting folk on the way home.
You
Actually,
sat
right-
next to the Beatles.
I wish. So on the, these are all just minor. There's nothing crazy like Doplex's
These are all
600 pound
minors.
fart machine. These are but there was so the guy on the flight back to Australia. It was a 4-hour flight. He sat there the entire time playing. They got 2048, you know, that mobile game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
played
yeah.
the
On the
shit out of
screens.
that in like 2013.
A good ass game. This dude for 4 hours straight did nothing but play that game and drink hot water.
I wish I could do that.
He just
you
kept
wish you could be
asking
that
for
kind of
hot
human?
water. Yeah, he literally just sat there like hunched over, like
You just need
sipping his
hot
fucking
chip,
spicy water.
hot water in 2048.
Yeah.
That's all you need for a life. I wish that was me.
Yeah.
And then on
And
the theme
lie.
of drinks, the guy to the right of me, when the breakfast cart came around, he ordered a nice cocktail. He asked for 2 drinks, which I didn't even know you could do. He asked for coffee
2 40 ounces, please.
and tomato
Duct
juice.
tape.
It's just like,
Tomato
What
juice.
the fuck?
I was like,
That's not
which
even.
they had. Like,
Yeah.
And if you drink tomato juice, fuck you. That sounds disgusting. But just the
It's
idea of
awful.
double fisting that with a coffee.
No, yeah, with coffee, that's nasty.
I fucking hate
Why
tomato
would you
juice.
do
but-
that?
Yeah, the idea of just like kick flipping between the two was
You
so
gotta have
fun.
a bloody beer, bro. I feel like you'd like it.
Maybe
No,
maybe
yeah,
in like an
yeah.
alcohol context, like I'll try it then. but
Like
just
beer
like
with tomato
first
juice
thing in the
and a
morning,
bunch
you
of
know what I
spicy
need?
shit in it.
Tomato
So
juice.
good.
Dude, that guy must
that
have
is
an
good.
iron stomach. Those are like two acidic drinks, like
That is
coffee
true,
and tomato
yeah.
juice. He's just
That
like
is very acidic.
It's like, I
dumping
need to burn
sulfuric
my
acid
stomach.
into his
Yeah.
stomach.
He was trying
Do you
to
think he
commit
was
suicide.
Italian?
No, I think he was just a fucking idiot.
Because Italians
Um,
invented coffee and tomatoes.
Yo,
They eat that shit every day.
Wait,
Maybe he was just trying to feel the culture. Maybe he was
didn't
going
the
to
Incans
Italy.
invent tomatoes?
Who?
Those tomatoes are from South America.
No.
No.
What about?
Well, anyway, so then the third person I ran into was there's
I
a
don't think
woman
anyone
sitting behind me.
yeah, just
I think God invented the tomato.
yeah, I know.
My
that just
Lord
caught up
and
What
to
about
me.
Savior.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
why I was
true.
thinking like just Italians like in a little workshop just building a tomato.
It's the
Building the
it's
first
the
one.
Walter
One day
White
someone's
gif
gonna
of them
fuck
just
it.
like
So there's the next person I encountered on my
Tomato.
fantastic trip was there was a very elderly woman who had bright pink hair sitting on the seat behind me, who doesn't quite understand how touchscreens work and seems to think that they're pressure sensitive,
fucking
and also not
punching you in the
realizing that
head.
my head is attached to said chair.
Yeah.
So I was I'm like fucking, I feel like the COVID's starting to course through my veins at this point because I was fucking tired as shit, and then I was just trying to sleep, and then just fucking boom, boom, like fucking like stabbing the back of my head, and it's like
watch Parks and Recreation.
no, literally. I think eventually thankfully she was just watching a TV show because man, if she was trying to play fucking Angry Birds or something,
Yeah.
like while like stabbing the screen, I probably would have snapped.
Bird.
Actually, there was. I think I might have said that on the way over. Did I tell about the Angry Birds guy I sat behind on the
Yeah.
way to America?
I think you
Yeah.
did. Yeah,
I think
On
you
the-
did, yeah.
Did I do it on the
Yeah.
podcast? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was that in reverse. And then the final character I met,
the final character.
I was on a 12-hour flight overnight from America to New Zealand. So, like, obviously, if you've never flown international or like, I guess a red eye, and they dim the cabin lights and like, it's everyone sleeps in theory. It's like very.
And no one
it-
opens the shades.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
if you
well,
do,
that-
you're a scumbag.
Well, the Air New Zealand flights are interesting because they've got like their shades aren't like manual, like just a
Oh.
flap or whatever. They actually have this weird like color stuff that blends, like bleaches the window. I don't know how the fuck it works, but the beauty of it is they can control it then. So what? So they themselves actually like darken all of the screens, all
Yeah.
the windows on purpose that people can't do shit like that.
It's a simulation.
But
The Earth is flat.
Yeah, NASA paid
faked
them to.
You can't
Yeah.
see this.
It's all TV
I wish that was
screens.
real.
Yeah.
Why?
Wasn't there like?
Because
Sorry,
then
real
I
quick,
wouldn't have
wasn't
to,
there
like-
like an actual conspiracy theory that like they do that on planes to like
Yeah.
Probably.
to like
It's
show
like
the,
a-
they
it's like a flat
create
earth meme. It's like
yeah, they
show
like
they're not
create
real.
a fake curvature or something. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
when
it's
you're on a plane,
and then when you fly, you don't actually fly. It's fucking stupid. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so it's like 3 a.m. equivalent. I'm like trying to sleep. Everyone's trying to sleep, and
You're
this
calling
dude behind me
imposter
just starts
at 3
singing.
a.m..
No way.
Starts singing?
No way.
Not loud,
What's-
not like he doesn't start belting, but he just starts. Hey, well, I'm like,
hole
Tiny dancer.
no, pretty much this dude just starts like
She
kind of
was a terrible woman. A
and like
terrible
it
woman.
wasn't loud, but I had noise canceling headphones on, and I could fucking hear this dude.
This is the first time I'm hearing someone sing Tiny Dancer on a plane.
It was surreal. He only did one song, thankfully, and then he just, I guess, he got that out of his system.
That's
and just
incredible.
stopped.
That's all he had.
But it was
Holy
just
shit.
like it is pitch black in this cabin. Everyone's like got eye
Yeah.
masks on, trying to sleep, and you're just fucking black hole sauce. So anyway, those are the characters I ran into. I'm sure there was more, but my brain can't remember them. But yeah,
Yeah.
I really feel for like airport workers because it feels like you're corralling just the dumbest people.
Yeah.
Myself
Yeah.
included, but like can you imagine being the dude at the security thing who like at least 50 times a day has to be like, no, your bag goes in here. Your laptop has to go out.
Yeah.
And then the people are like, okay. So
that happened to me.
You're doing that.
That happened to me. I got yelled at. Yeah, I got yelled at.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. We got yelled at in LA.
Yeah, because I didn't know I was supposed to take my Switch out of my backpack as well. So she's like, whose Switch is this? It's mine.
The Switch is weird because it's like in a weird...
Yeah.
You know, like it's on a laptop, but then some places call out and then some places, So I don't blame you for not doing it. It was interesting because in New Zealand, we don't have to take our shoes off to go through security.
That's
so you can have little nukes in there.
Yeah, well, you could. I guess we've never been 9/11 yet, so
right.
But it was funny, like
now.
Even though we don't have to, when you can still tell who's from America because they just do it anyway. So I was like, you know, we had to have a quick like security check before we got onto the flight to Australia, and everyone who was American took their shoes off, and you just don't have to. It was kind of funny.
Yeah,
I like taking my shoes off. That's why I always wear like slides or slippers, so it's just like whoop. But it is interesting because like on the way to Alaska, I had a bunch of cameras and batteries and shit all in like this bag that in a camera bag, and I had to take every single individual thing out and make sure it was like visible and it wasn't on top of each other and everything. Yeah. And then I started doing that, and I meticulously packed it so I didn't want to, but I started doing that on the way from like when I was going through security at Alaska to like leave, and the person was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm taking my electronics out of my bag." She's like, "No, we don't do that at this airport." I was like, what? Is there no uniformity? What the fuck? What if someone has a bomb in their fucking cannon, bro? Why did I have to do it in Jacksonville? Is there less fucking terrorists in Alaska? What the fuck? Now
There's no terrorists in Alaska.
There's no terrorists in Alaska.
Alaska's a simple place.
So for some reason, this is the weirdest thing, but so I went from Jacksonville to Chicago to Alaska. Chicago to Alaska was 7 hours. Then, for some reason, on the way back, I went from Alaska. Look at a map if you don't know how stupid this is. I went from Alaska to New Jersey to Florida. And New Jersey to Chicago is like a 3-hour flight.
Yeah. And
somehow we made better time on that flight than Chicago to Alaska. And it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But so we went to New Jersey. My layover was my layover was 29 minutes to get off of one plane.
Yeah.
Like not like 29 minutes from when you get off from when the wheels touch the ground. I had 29 minutes. So like, and of course, Newark Airport is fucking terrible, and it's fucking gigantic. Like I forget how big it is compared to other airports, but like we touch down and we don't even get to the gate for 15 minutes. They're just fucking driving on the fucking tarmac or whatever.
They're doing skids.
Yeah, and then I'm in like the middle of the plane and like I've seen before where they're like, "Hey, we have a passenger with a tight connection. Let them off first."
This plane park now.
But no one did that for me, so I'm like stuck. I have like 4 minutes. Like I'm like getting off the plane. I look at my phone. I have like 4 minutes to get to a gate. The gate is 29 gates away, and you usually have to take like a fucking like monorail to get to it or something. But I'm just like sprinting through the fucking airport. This is the first time I've been back in my place of birth. The place that I was born 64. And raised for 20 fucking years. Yeah. The first time I've been back in 4 years.
BLJing.
And I just have to sprint through sprint through the airport to get to the next gate. I'm late by like 10 minutes. And it was just so weird because literally just being back in New Jersey for like legit like less than 15 minutes, like I could just like feel the difference in the people. I could see that there was way more. There were way more darker shades of people than I'm used to in fucking Florida. It was all the whole airport smelled like fucking grease, but in like the best way possible. Like they're like. No one looked at me. Like in Florida, everyone wants to look at you. They like want your eyes. Like they want you to be like, oh, honey, how are you doing? No, not a single fucking person even dared to look at me because no one gives a fuck. And if you lock eyes, you have to fight.
Epic.
That's like,
Those the rules, man.
I'm there for 10 minutes and I'm just in an airport and it just
transition.
like all all the things that I've missed are like immediately apparent. But then I have to sprint through the whole fucking airport. I get to the thing. They've already done the thing where they lock like all 3 fucking max security vault doors, like so that like the plane. But then the lady sees me running. She's like, "Are you James Miller?" I'm like, "Yes."
From YouTube.
She's like, "Let me call the captain." It was like a fucking movie. I was like, "Oh shit."
I love BeefBoys.
She like calls the captain. She's like, he's here, and you like. She makes a face and she's like, "You gotta go fast." I'm like, "Oh shit!" So she fucking puts in these codes and lifts the lever and fucking fingers the door and pulls it open. And then she does that to another door, and then she does that to another door, and then I'm like sprinting down the runway. And then this fucking one of the flight attendants, not even like a pilot or anything, one of the flight attendants like looks down and he's like, "Can you hurry up?" I'm like, "Bruh, I just like."
I'm working on it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even need to say I'm working on it. But it's just like, just shut the fuck up, bro. Go make fucking $4 an hour, you bitch. Fucking I hate
You idiot.
But then I have.
But you're a flight attendant. Do you have somewhere to be?
Yeah, well, it was just like, what do you think? Like, they just reopened the locked gate for me. Like, it's not like I was lollygagging. Like,
so you're just in New Jersey airport, like,
yeah, like she throws the door open. I'm like sprinting in slow motion down the fucking terminal, and this guy's like, "Can you hurry up?" It's like, but
you should have booked it at him.
It's like one of the full force. This is like one of the. I just got off a fucking 8-hour agonizing flight. This is the biggest. This is one of the biggest planes I've ever been on. This one that I'm getting on. It's fully packed. There's not a seat left on it. And I am in row 39D. I am literally, because I said this on the last one, I am in the last seat in the back of the plane against the fucking back wall. And this is a fully packed flight with like 300 fucking people on it. And they're all from New Jersey and New York. So like I get on and it's like every single person looks at me and I'm just like this big fat idiot, disheveled idiot with a backpack like pulling my man tits apart and like blue hair that's been destroyed by the humidity of the airplane. Everyone's like, "Blue!" And they see me get on and I have to walk past all of them. I fucking need like 30 people because no one wants to move out of the fucking way to let me by. And I have to like stop in the middle of the plane and I'm in like such a rush. I'm like trying to get my bag in and my bag is so overpacked that it like won't fucking fit and I'm like punching it to get it in. And I'm like standing in front of this guy and my shirt's like halfway up to my fucking boobs because I'm like fully stretched. I'm like, I got my fucking disgusting 8-hour flight stomach in this man's face. And I'm like running to the back of the fucking plane. And then I get there and who else would it be but another fat motherfucker like myself in the middle seat and I'm in the aisle. And this bitch has her leg like lodged under the middle armrest. So I literally had, for a 2.5-hour flight, I had just like one of my legs on the seat the whole time and the other one was just out in the aisle and I had to put all my weight on it to like center myself because this bitch claimed this whole fucking seat. So like it was fucking epic.
What a story.
Jesus.
But there's one thing I noticed that in America, they don't fucking wait for you if you ever connecting. I mean, I guess they sort of did for you and that they let you back on, but like it sounds like they didn't wait much at all.
No, I don't think they were waiting. I think they just hadn't taken off yet and the lady wanted to do me a solid. Like they definitely weren't going to wait.
That's epic. Yeah. Shout out that lady.
Yeah, I thought I was fucked because in like all the TV shows, it's like, sorry, once I lock this door, it's like it doesn't work no more.
That's
what
true.
I was expecting.
They do that.
She opened it and she was like, "Bruh." But
hell yeah.
But through all of that and all that panic, I could still just sense that I was home for like 10 minutes. That I'm where I'm supposed to be, and then I left. But that's all it took. I just smelled the smog. I smelled the grease. I saw the people. I saw the Latinas. I'm like, I'm in fucking New Jersey, baby.
The Guidos, the pizza. The hair.
I wish I could have got a slice of fucking. I was almost hoping the flight would get fucked so one of my friends could like come and bring me pizza or something.
Oh yeah.
Yo, they need to make planes bigger, bro. This shit's fucking bullshit.
They do need to make planes bigger.
Yeah, that was the. I was like, this was motivation to work really hard so I can afford business class because. Fuck having to. I actually did ring up just to see if I could upgrade, just out of curiosity. Just like, how much would this cost? It was going to cost $4,000.
Jesus.
Some of them,
I was like,
some of them is
maybe
like
not.
you get up to the last moment and they'll give it to you for like cheap. Like even on the app, it'll be like $100. But like I was checking for the New Jersey one and like I checked like 3 hours before and it was like $200 and I was like, oh, I might want to do that. And then I checked like as I was fucking running to see if I could still get it and it was like $1,400. I was like, bruh.
Fuck yeah.
But there was this very specific emotion that I felt that I wonder if you guys have ever felt, where I went from like panic and like adrenaline, like I need to get there, I'm sprinting through a fucking airport, I'm freaking out, so I went from like panic to, or just like really just like over stimulated to like sitting in the most uncomfortable fucking like position I've ever, like going from that to that. I was getting these like vivid like daydreams of me like fucking like beating the dude's in front of me's like head in like to a pulp, like not even as a joke. Like I was murdering him and like loving it, and I was like, and I couldn't like make it stop. It was like deep in my psyche. Like it was like this.
That was the Alaskan brainworm stuff.
It was this weird
way into.
But I told my dad about it, and he said that he like understood what I meant because he commuted to New York for like 20 years from New Jersey, and it would be like he would like wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and then like fucking rush to the train station and then have to sit next to the most disgusting people ever for like 2 hours, and that just on a train like go, and then he has to go work for a bunch of scumbags. So like I don't know if you guys are ever really overwhelmed and then you get put in a really uncomfortable situation. I want to know if that ever happens, because it was this emotion that I've never felt, and I don't know if I ever will again. It was like a perfect storm of two juxtaposed emotions that created like I felt like I was snapping at the seams.
Yeah, I can see that in terms of like you have this intense emotion, like stress, and then obviously the first thing you want after being stressed is to relax and decompress. And in theory, that's what you would have done if you had a comfortable seat. You could, I'm here, I'm good, I'm going back to Florida, I can just relax from now on. But then you were met with with the fucking hand planet. He had to then sit like Tetris your way around.
Yeah.
So you weren't even granted that luxury,
But it was just so like on the surface I was calm and ready.
Spaghetti.
Drop bombs. I didn't tell the TSA that.
Like in my conscious mind I was fine. Like what I was showing to the outside world, I was fine. I was fucking drinking apple juice, like I'm just chilling. But like the whole time, deep in my psyche, I was legitimately like committing mass atrocities on the entire plane. It's crazy.
We're going to get a therapist fan one day, and they're going to be like, James should see somebody.
James, here's my cell phone number.
We already got a therapist if you put a space in.
Give me a call.
It was wild.
Yeah. I just realized that we haven't actually talked about the trip at all. Rather just our travel stories.
We kind of talked about it like while we were there on both episodes. But is there anything we didn't cover?
Maybe we should do that on the bonus.
We could do that on bonus.
Yeah, also, we can do that on the bonus.
But also, I feel like there's a lot of people who'd be keen to hear everything we've done.
Maybe they should join Patreon.
Well, I mean, again, like we talk about. I feel like we've talked about most of the stuff on both the episodes we recorded. This would really just be like bonus tidbits that we like maybe didn't cover at the time.
I was thinking more about like what it was like meeting each other and like what did we think we were gonna be like? What were we like? That's
good bonus content.
All right, well, if you want to hear all that, then join the Patreon, because you'll just see all the content we've made while we were all together in Lasker when it comes out. So,
I will say, after being with you guys for like a week, literally as soon as we started talking again in Discord, like 18 hours after we all left, so like we all like basically got to fly and then sleep, like. Yeah. As soon as we started talking on Discord again, it was just like immediate, like oh my God, is Doplex mad at me? Is Kudos being short with me? Is Andrew not answering? Like it went from like, oh, we're all normal people again to like the internet sucks and I can't read anything and like everyone hates me and I'm anxious and fucking sad and like
I also heard that
group chats give me AIDS. Like it was so. You'd think after like a week I'd be like, no, now I understand these people, but like. It just doesn't matter. Like it could be my grandma, and I'll read a message from her and be like, "Oh, she put a period here. You think she hates me?"
Yeah.
What the fuck, Granny? She's gonna kill me.
It fucking sucks. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I don't think my grandma wants to be my grandma anymore.
We should talk exclusively through voice messages, like send through.
Send little,
yeah, because that way you can also tell intent, and no one can
celebrities
screenshot it
do or whatever.
That is true. And to be fair, we were all severely under the weather, so I wasn't checking Discord at all. Nor was I even
I mean, like the
remembering how to
first day,
type.
but it was before we were sick. It was like because I put it in the talking points like that day. It was like Discord AIDS compared to IRL swag. It was just like it was the day after we got back, and it was just like immediately like the first message we send, I'm like, oh, someone's mad at me. But it's like obviously you're not. But I just can't help it. It's so I fucking I hate Discord so much. Dude, have you guys been to a wedding like semi recently? Not like last like 10 years.
Oh, then yeah.
Went to my cousin's
several.
So I went to my cousin's wedding like 2 years ago, and these motherfuckers, they had the thing where like you go up under the bride's dress and like bite the thing off her leg or whatever.
I hate that
It
tradition.
was so
Fuck?
uncomfortable. And then like
fuck?
other people were getting it and then doing it. And like but not as like it would be like some girl got it and like put it on, and then a random person's mom would like force a 15-year-old kid to go up and like bite it off her leg or
I've
something.
never heard
What the hell?
of this
That's very
tradition
weird.
ever.
Yeah,
What the
okay,
fuck?
I'm glad it doesn't extend outside of America.
Yeah.
Brides
also-
wear like a garter or something. It's just like this frilly thing that they wear like way up on their thigh
little
the
piece of
entire day.
lace.
So it gets
Like
like
a
a bunch of
lace
sweat and
band.
pussy juice and gooch sweat on it.
Yeah.
And then during the reception in front of everybody, they have to sit down on a chair and like hike their entire dress up, and then the groom has to like bite it and rip it off their leg.
It is a very
And
strange
it's very
tradition.
sexual.
It is a very strange tradition.
And I'm very glad
What the
that
fuck?
not a single wedding I have ever been to has done it, because
I've
I
never seen-
hate
I
it.
didn't
It
think
makes
people
me
did it
so
anymore.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I've only known one person who did it, and I think I might have talked about him on Beef before. He was that dude that looks like Gollum and Gru had a baby and was just like a pathological
That's
liar.
a fucked up
Description.
reality.
What a
I
description.
will show you a picture of him. I can't, do it to him on Beef, but I'll show you a
Had to do
picture
it
of him,
to him.
and you will agree with me. Like it's
actually,
remarkable.
please.
But he's a
do.
pathological liar, and someone did a video of his wedding, and it's the most uncomfortable wedding video I've ever seen. But that specifically was it's like the grab your chair and rock kind of like uncomfortable. It like it made my penis go out my butthole. It was so bad. It was awful.
I hate that. I've always wanted to do. My mum always had like this plate in like one of our cabinets or whatever. It was like one of those shitty ceramic ones that you smash from like a Greek wedding or something she went to, like in the fucking 80s. I always thought that seemed
Greek
fun, like
wedding.
just smashing
I
a
wanna do
bunch
that
of
too.
fucking plates and shit.
I think Jews do that, or they like
they do
they
the
put,
wine
like-
glasses.
yeah, they put like
Or no.
glasses in like
like a
bags and then
napkin.
stomp on
And
it.
then Mazel
Oh,
Tov.
yeah.
Mazel tov. Fill up my cup. Molotov.
That's the person doing it with bare feet.
Yeah. Yo.
Fuck you. Subscribe to our Patreon.